Enterprise Management 360.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Tech Chat. In today's episode, I've got an interview with Sahil Rekhi. Now, I'm going to speak to Sahil about the future of unified communications. He's given me a background on RingCentral and also collaboration tools and what we can look forward to in the future. So let's head over and see what Sahil has to say on the matter. So I'm joined now by Sahil. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Could you just give me, first of all, a little bit of background on yourself and RingCentral?
Max, firstly, thank you very much for having me here. So I'm Sahil Rekhi. I'm the Managing Director for RingCentral in EMEA. Been with the business for about 6 years since we started operations in the UK. RingCentral, as you know, we're the leading provider for cloud communication and collaboration services. We have over 4,000 businesses globally. Been a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for the last 4 years running. And we service customers for all segments, right from SMB to large enterprises across a footprint of over 100 countries. We also serve services across the contact center as a service space, as well as digital engagement platforms.
Excellent, excellent. So the reason for the interview today is I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on unified communications, the tools that are being utilized, and also the future that's happening. So first question really is around the balance that a lot of companies are looking for. So we're seeing a lot of aspects of they want to balance the home life but also the work life.
Yes.
So from your standpoint, how can you see a more flexible way of working but also still maintaining the output that companies are expecting?
Right. I guess the simplest way to look at the answer is, the one-word answer is cloud. Everybody's got to start embracing cloud technologies to be able to get to that point where they can have a good balance between work life, personal life, as well as flexible working more generally. If you look at where the industry is headed and where businesses are generally headed today, there's just a lot of consumerization that has happened. We've all got used to the app economy, over 2 million applications in the iOS app stores or the Android app stores. That's driven a culture of services being available for people no matter where they are. And on any device. So businesses are looking to try and provide the same experience for the employees that they're used to in their personal life, because that's become the norm and the expectation. There's also research out there which actually shows if employees have a good work-life balance, their productivity levels just generally tend to go up. So over the last 20 years that unified communications has been around, the stage has evolved. We've now moved into unified communications as a service. RingCentral as an organization started as a pure cloud play, offering UCaaS services about 15 years back. And we've been leading in this space for quite a while, sort of enabling this culture and helping organizations make this fundamental shift. The real approach is now you have applications where you can have a single application that allows you to effectively call, message, meet, share documents, create tasks, contact your customers, engage with your partners, do projects with internal teams, all together from any device, no matter where you are. And really, that's what's starting to drive that shift in culture across the organizations. But I think I would say one thing to bear in mind is when organizations are looking to make that shift towards flexible working, they also got to have a shift around how they're going to manage the expectations of the employees, as well as continue to drive the output that they've had in the past, but also try and amplify some of that output. So the lens that they start looking at in terms of how they're measuring employee success and employee productivity needs to be different. The world is no longer set in a place where work is 9 to 5. We're all global, we all work in different time zones, everybody is spread across, so you need to be able to reach somebody no matter where they are. So the shift has to come from leaders within these organizations, where companies are starting to look at output being measured as deliverable projects, tangible deliverable outputs across teams and individuals, rather than specific KPIs around hours of work that you're doing.
Excellent, that's perfect. And as you mentioned, communication is the main thing, isn't it? It's making sure that you can have a conversation when you need to have it.
Absolutely.
So one aspect that I wanted to kind of look at here is, so how can companies use all this technology that's available to them to make sure that we have effective communication?
So technology has come a long way. Unified communications has now become UCaaS, but it's also become unified communications and collaboration. There has been a burst on the scene for collaborative software that's out there, kind of enables team messaging, team collaboration. We did a recent survey of about 2,000 respondents, our customers as well as some prospects, just to understand how they're utilizing some of these services and what are their communication preferences. Strangely enough, what came out quite strongly was 85% of the respondents really enjoy working on team messaging collaboration tools. That's their go-to medium rather than email, because they just feel bringing a bunch of people together in a cross-functional environment is so much easier to deliver the output that is required. And it actually goes one step further. It doesn't just stop at team messaging. 88% of those respondents love communicating over video rather than just voice. Voice is still growing, and voice will always continue to be a critical part of the communication spectrum. But I think video is becoming equally important. And now the tools like RingCentral allow you to bring all these services into a single unified interface. So when you're looking at trying to make that shift, you've got to look at one single vendor who can provide the full spectrum of services for you. You have a single application that your end users can use, and that single application also helps in driving better adoption. That's one of the biggest things that I think organizations need to focus on, is not so much about here's my technology and this is what I'm going to deploy, but how am I going to get my employees to actually start using it? The moment you start using some of these technologies, you see the output increasing considerably.
Yeah, no, definitely. So one aspect I wanted to kind of move on to is obviously the future of unified communications tools, and across all industries this is a major factor. So one thing you just mentioned was about collaboration tools. So from your standpoint, where do you see the kind of future heading for collaboration tools?
So I think there are multiple different factors and multiple different channels that collaboration tools are going to pursue moving into the future. So a few different things to look at. But to sort of understand some of that, if we just take a step back and look at how communication has generally evolved. You've got the onset of voice communications, then video communications and messaging communications coming into play. Then you had unified communications around 20 years back. It's become into UCaaS and collaboration with team messaging and open platform, etc. that's come into place. The real next phase, the logical evolution of that, is driving unified experiences, bringing all these different services, both from an internal collaboration as well as an external collaboration perspective, together into one single experience for the employees that they can engage towards. That'll help drive employee engagement, it'll help drive adoption, it'll help drive better customer experience and better NPS. You're driving better improved bottom line for the business that is rolling out some of these services. For the future of RingCentral, as an organization, we've come from a cloud PBX background, but we've evolved our portfolio to address call and contact center services, and recently made some more acquisitions in terms of how we see the communication and collaboration landscape evolving. So in terms of building broader differentiation, we continue to focus on some of our key pillars of being born in the cloud. Firstly, we want to make sure that all these services are available globally across a footprint of about 100 plus countries that we service today, and we continue to grow that footprint, but we also continue to make elements or parts of our service more and more easily accessible and readily available in those different geographies. The second aspect is we continue to invest into analytics, as that's what's going to really drive adoption and usage and benefits for our clients, whom we see as real partners on a digital transformation journey that we are taking them on. The third piece is really investment into artificial intelligence. So those are the things that we sort of continue to drive focus on and drive investment on.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, and also giving us the insight on what we can look forward to, but also what people are utilising at the moment. It's been really insightful. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Max. Really appreciate you having me here today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.